So, another December means another The Game Awards ceremony. And personally, I've never really been a big fan of The Game Awards. I am of the opinion that I could really care less on what other people think about the games that I play, as long as I enjoy them. But, however, you know, like a car accident, sometimes some abysmal thing happens where you can't help but stare. And usually the Game Awards is that, with horrendous indie game announcements that no one really cares about, live performances that most people go and use the bathroom or get drinks and food during, and horrendous games getting Game of the Year and robbing games that deserve it. But surprisingly, this year was kind of different. I got a few thoughts I want to get into, but before we do that, I just want to apologize because I am currently sick. I'm getting over it, but if I sound weird, kind of nasally and all that throughout the video, try to ignore it. That's why. I can't help it. I would love to, but other than that, I wanted to first start off by getting into my expectations and the things I was hoping for, which I tried to keep minimal. But starting off, the first, there were 3 things that I was of the opinion that if any of these happen, this is a win. This would be a perfect ceremony. There was 3 things I wanted. Either A, I wanted a new Persona 4 revival trailer, because the first one, looked pretty early into development, very rough drafty. So I was hoping, maybe we could get some kind of updated graphics, some gameplay, some of the combat, something like that, some of the cutscenes, anything like that. Didn't get that, unfortunately. The other thing, maybe we would get another Witcher 4 trailer, maybe see some gameplay, maybe see a little bit more of the story. Did not get that either. And the last thing I was kind of hoping for was the Silent Hill 1 remake finally getting a trailer. I know they announced it and it got like a little video announcement, but I was thinking like maybe they would like show off the main character, show off some of the, anything. Didn't get that either, but yeah, those were the 3 things I was hoping for. Unfortunately, did not get that. But I'll keep this brief because I'm not going to go over all the awards, but just to give a few thoughts on awards that could win, or to give my thoughts on the awards that I thought were interesting enough to talk about. First of all, the elephant in the room, the 33 sweep. To the surprise of nobody, we all saw it coming. I contributed to it, my votes. I participated in the sweep. That's nothing surprising there, although Withered Waves winning Player's Choice, that, I'm not gonna lie, that I was shocked about. I thought 33 had that in the bag. I don't know if Wuthering Waves came out on PC at the same, I don't know if it did a day 1 drop on PC and mobile. I was one of the people, I had it pre-downloaded on Apple. I remember getting the notification when that game came out, but I don't really remember anyone talking about the game. I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't really play gacha games like that, especially as of recently. I haven't played any of them in a while, so I guess maybe in the time that I've stepped away from that space, the game was taken off, because Pete Expedition 33, so people gotta be playing it. But yeah, that did shock me. I did not see that coming. And the last one that I was pretty excited about, that I thought was interesting, was the mobile game of the year. I should be biased as a Persona fan. I wanted to vote for Persona just on principle. However, I don't know if it's Persona 5 fatigue from the 10 trillion iterations of the game, or if it's the fact that this game, I don't know about you guys, this game ran pretty abysmally on Steam. I played it on mobile, didn't really have any issues, but I prefer to play my games on my PC. And this game, I had a lot of frame drops, stuttering, freezing. Not a very nice experience, and it caused me to drop the game about halfway through the first palace, unfortunately. But my mobile game of the year did win, because I voted for Uma Musume. This game, I'm not gonna lie, is addicting. It's such a goofy concept, but I'm not gonna lie, the more you get into it, it's pretty fun. I've wasted quite a bit of time that I am not gonna confirm in this video playing this game. It's so simple, it's such a basic concept, but it's very fun and it's very engaging to watch, and I get it. I see the appeal. I like it. I'm glad it won. I even voted for it over Persona, which I am a very biased Persona fan, so the fact that even I am giving it over Persona is pretty crazy. But yeah, those are my opinions on the actual awards themselves, because the other ones I'm not really going to get into, because it's pretty much just 33 winning everything, and the other ones aren't very interesting in my opinion. But what is interesting in my opinion were the announcements, because normally, as I said in the intro, usually the Game Awards, it's the very big blockbuster, big games that you're either a very big fan of or you don't care about at all, or it's indie slop that no one really gives a shit about. Like, I remember this year they had some game called like The Good Shepherd, where it's literally just Stray, but you play as a dog and you just walk around open fields, which I don't know who the hell that's for. But I guess shout out to the one person that was very excited for that game. But the games that, I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely excited about. First of all, we gotta start with the game of the Game Awards, because they kept talking about it all night. Resident Evil Requiem, or RE9. You know, I'm pretty sure Leon got leaked a while back. I don't think anyone's too surprised to see Leon. I'm pretty sure it got leaked. I'm pretty sure people were saying that this is supposed to be like his last game. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know if any like actual like Capcom source or any like valid source has confirmed or denied that. But if that is true, that is very unfortunate that they're getting rid of the most iconic character in their franchise. Why they gotta do my goat like that, I'm not sure. Hopefully that's not true, but if it is, I don't blame them, because they gotta do something different at some point. You can't just reuse the same characters forever. Although Capcom, there is another character you could be using. Just saying, Rebecca's right there. No, I haven't seen her in how long. Bring my queen back. But, you know, I'm pretty sure that they're doing it RE2 style, where they have two playable characters and they have their own story, and you have to play both characters' stories to get the ending, which I'm not going to complain, because RE2 is my favorite Resident Evil, and that was one of my favorite things about the game, was getting two completely different stories, especially the remake. I'm not going to lie, the remake was phenomenal, unlike Resident Evil 3. I'm sorry, Resident Evil 3. The RE2 remake is phenomenal. Side tangent for a quick second, if you have not played RE2 the remake, please do yourself a favor. If you want to play one of the like OG Resident Evil games and you don't want to play one of like the PS2 games on an emulator or some shit, play the RE2 remake. It's phenomenal. But anyways, RE9, it looks great. I'm very intrigued with it so far. I'm glad they have the first and third person option to satisfy both sides of the fan base, because I'll throw my hat in the ring. I am a third person advocate. I am not a fan of RE7 as much. Very much not a fan of RE8. I miss the third person survival horror, and hopefully this game does look scary, so hopefully this game does live up to the trailer and the advertisement, because even like the advertisement, that little splash where it says Requiem, it looks like going for like the older PS2 aesthetic for horror, which is one of my favorites. So hopefully they're gonna go back to being scary. I'd love that. But that's about it on my opinions for RE9. It looks great. I hope it's gonna be good. Hope they don't kill Leon. But moving on to, I'll start with this, because this is, in my opinion, the game of the night. And I know it's gonna sound crazy, because this game didn't show any gameplay at all, and I'm gonna have to be careful what part of the trailer I even show in the video, because this trailer is fucking nuts. I had a few buddies in the Discord with me when we were watching the Game Awards live together, and we had no clue what the hell this game was. To be honest, when it first started, for like the first probably like 30 seconds or like the first full minute, we thought it was Fable, and then they started showing this guy getting burnt alive with like this little kid low-key getting into it, and then they start showing this insane like this like orgy also, and then they start showing like the guy melting and like his skin coming off, all this crazy shit. And I'm like, okay, Fable gets pretty dark at times, but I don't think it gets this dark. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they showed the Larian Studio symbol, and I was like, okay, hold on, is this Baldur's Gate 4 or is this a new IP? And it ended up being Divinity. Now, I'll be honest, it's coincidental because I just recently have started playing Divinity 2. Kind of crazy that I skipped 1, but Divinity 2 looked cooler. I've started playing Divinity 2. I have about an hour, 2 hours into the game. I'm not going to claim to be like a big Divinity fan. I liked it. I was getting into it, but I was just kind of shocked that of all IPs, like I was like, oh wow, it's actually a game that I know. I was pretty shocked. This game looks nuts. And from what I've heard, apparently this game is supposed to be more in-depth and it's supposed to have even more content than Baldur's Gate 3, which is pretty insane because that game had a lot of content. So, this is very biased. I have no clue the gameplay could be terrible. I have no clue they've shown no gameplay, but just from how bad shit insane that cinematic was, it got my interest. The entire call was dead silent. We were all just sitting there going like, what in the fuck is happening? That trailer was nuts. I very much look forward to that game. In the spirit of tactical games, D&D, that kind of style, the other game I'm very much looking forward to is Warlock. Warlock, they didn't show any gameplay, but just like Divinity, it's the cinematics and maybe cutscenes, I'm not sure, but the cinematic trailer was pretty crazy and it got my attention. I am very intrigued for the game. I cannot wait to play it. And the other game I'm looking forward to, it's iffy because there's a good part and a bad part, but I'm going to put them together because it's the same series. the game I'm very much looking forward to, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. I'll be honest, growing up, the only one I ever played, I think it was the 2016 Tomb Raider. I played that one a lot growing up. That's about it. I never played any of like the OG ones. I don't know nothing about like the triangle titties. I don't know nothing about that. I didn't grow up playing it, but I have played the OG of like the reboots. I played that. I played the Tomb Raider. I guess I'll call it the reboot. I think it was 2016. The reboot Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. All of those games I like very much. I've never had like a super strong opinion on Tomb Raider, but I've always liked it, but I've never been like a huge fan of Tomb Raider. So Legacy of Atlantis, the game looks gorgeous, and I'm very much excited for that game, and it's pretty much guaranteed I'm gonna buy it. The one I'm not so sure on is Tomb Raider Catalyst, and I say that for two reasons, and this is purely speculation. The first reason, this Lara Croft does not really look like the Lara Croft that I know, and it's weird because I even had a conversation with my friend about it. Lara Croft might be one of the most inconsistently designed characters in gaming because she looks different in every game, but like even some games, like they look kind of similar and you can tell. This game, she does not look very much like she normally does, but the main thing I'm more concerned about is they love to do those shots where it's like the zoom in where the character is really close to the screen and it's just a shot of them overlooking a very big open world. And I am of the opinion I have a lot of open world fatigue. I remember growing up, you know, we had games like, just to list a few, you have games like the Batman Arkham trilogy, you have games like Yakuza, and what I mean by those games in particular is growing up, usually all you had was you got games that took place in a city. You got like a fairly decently sized city, and that was the big thing that games were striving for in my era. Games like GTA 5, where you had huge open worlds, and that was supposed to be like the thing, you know, and then you had games like Breath of the Wild, big open world, that was like the thing for a while. That was the thing that gaming was striving for, and I remember growing up, that was everything that companies were trying to get towards. But unfortunately, in my opinion, we have beaten that trend to death. I have a lot of open world fatigue. I'm tired of it, tired of seeing it. This will be controversial, but I'll say it. That's why I am not a big fan of Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring as a game. I love the Dark Souls trilogy. I love FromSoft, but Elden Ring, I feel like, has one of the problems that I'm not a big fan of, where you have an open world and half of the world is kind of empty. It's just open fields with enemies. And, you know, I'm not gonna go into the whole, like, Elden Ring reusing the same bosses a trillion times and only having, like, 10 actual bosses you have to fight. That's a conversation for another video, and that's not me knocking Elden Ring. I mean, it is, but I don't dislike Elden Ring. It's just not my favorite FromSoft game, but that's a conversation for a separate video. The reason I bring it up, though, is that is usually the biggest problem with open world games, is the amount of game versus amount of content in-game. If you have a gigantic open world but there's not really much to do in it, it doesn't really matter how big it is. Games made by Ubisoft are perfect examples. Ubisoft is horrendously known for making gigantically open games for no reason, and I am of the opinion that I don't like those games, so, you know, I automatically have a prejudice against it because I'm not a fan of open world games. I'll say it's not even confirmed it's an open world game. This is all purely speculation, but I'm gonna try and hold my tongue. I'm just saying that I'm not a fan of that. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully it's a great game. It might be a phenomenal game. I have no clue, but that's just my initial reaction. On a more positive note, another game that I'm very intrigued by was Total War Warhammer 40k. Now, I am someone, I don't know anything about Warhammer. I never grew up with anyone in my life that played it. I don't have any friends that play it. I don't know anyone who's into it. But when I do see it, it's always very chill people that are just very passionate about. They kind of remind me of like the Dark Souls fan base before Dark Souls was like mainstream, how they're usually pretty chill. They're more just excited, like, oh, you play, like, holy shit, you play Warhammer. Like, they're more excited just to talk about like their lore and their characters. They're more just excited to run into someone who also plays that thing, and they know all the characters, they know all the lore from each game and all that kind of stuff, which I think is cool. And personally, I'm kind of biased because I have recently been looking into buying Space Marine 2. I've been waiting for it to go on sale with the Steam sale for coming up for winter. So I'm not gonna lie, I had a bias of I was already looking into the franchise, and then I saw this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy Space Marine 2, and yeah, I'm gonna have to buy this. This game looks sick. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I don't know if I'm gonna get into it. I don't know if I'm gonna be obsessed with it, but I'm definitely gonna buy them. I'm definitely gonna try it out, and I have high hopes. It looks sick. I hope I like it as much as the trailers look sick. The other game I have to talk about is Solasta 2. Now, I will say, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and I'm becoming more open-minded to gaming, but these kinds of games, if you would have told me about this earlier when I was younger, there's no way in hell I would have ever entertained the thought of playing these games. But personally, I don't know. It probably stems from me recently playing a lot of Vecna on DBD. That kind of reignited my liking for Baldur's Gate and playing a lot more like D&D inspired stuff, where I've been kind of more interested in those kinds of games. So I guess that's kind of where the bias is coming from, that's making me interested in games like Divinity and all that. But this game, I'm not gonna lie, this was another one where I was like, Baldur's Gate 4, because I don't know any other tactical games, but it looks really cool. The graphics look beautiful. I very much am a fan of how this game looks, and I really hope that it is as good as it looks, because I am very much looking forward to playing this game. I think they showed a little bit of gameplay, and from the gameplay they showed, it looked pretty fun. So I am very much looking forward to that. This one was kind of interesting because on my Steam wishlist and on my YouTube, I kind of just save games like Blight Survival, if anyone knows what that is. I have a lot of games saved where I don't really ever know when they're coming out. They're just kind of like games you see a trailer for and you're like, oh, that looks sick. Like Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong was a game I was keeping tabs on for like 2 or 3 years before it finally came out. I do that a lot with random games where I'm like, oh, that's gonna be the shit when it comes out. And Phantom Blade was one of them. I was not expecting a Phantom Blade trailer. Honestly, yeah, no offense to anyone who's a big fan of this game or is looking forward to it. I forgot this game existed. I completely forgot that these trailers exist. I didn't even know what I was looking at, honestly. And then I saw the name at the end of the trailer, and I was like, oh shit, that's what that is. I completely forgot this game existed, but I have been keeping tabs on it, and I was very much looking forward to, as I've said a million times, I am a very big FromSoft fan. I love Souls games, I love Souls-likes, Stellar Blade, Wukong, even the newer ones, I'm a very big Souls-like fan. So, nothing really much to say here. It's another medieval Souls-like. It's right up my alley. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just trying to be what it is, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And then lastly, a very perplexing game, Bradley the Badger. I don't know how I feel about this game. When the trailer first started, I was like, this game looks goofy as hell. But then the trailer kept going, and I was like, okay. And then it kept going, and I'm still very perplexed on how I feel about this game. It feels oddly nostalgic. It feels like something I would have played on like the original Xbox growing up. Why? I don't know why that reminds me of it, but I don't know, there's something about it. I have some kind of gut reaction where the game has intrigued me, and I'm probably gonna play it. Normally, I would have laughed this game off and been like, this looks like shit. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm weird or if this game is valid. But I'm probably gonna play it just for the fact that I don't know why it makes me feel the way it makes me feel, but something tells me that I should try it, so I'm gonna. And yeah, that about wraps up my opinion on the Game Awards. My top 3, I would say, for the games I'm most excited for, I'd say number 1 would be a tie between my top 3 for games I'm most excited for. I would say my top 3, number 1 has to be, this is gonna be biased because I have nothing to go off of. Number 1, I would say, would be a tie between Divinity and RE9, because, I'm a very big Resident Evil fan, so I'm always excited for another entry, and Divinity looks completely insane, and I hope it's going to be great. Second place, I would say, is a tie between Warhammer, Warlock, and Legacy of Atlantis, because Tomb Raider, I already know that. I've played a lot of the Tomb Raider games. I know I'm going to like it. Warhammer, I can't really say anything about because I don't know whether I like any of the Warhammer games or not. But Space Marine already has my attention, so the fact that I'm interested in playing any game in the franchise, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's probably going to be good and I'm probably going to like it. I'm going to go Warlock also for second place because I don't really know anything about the game other than the cinematics look cool. And then number 3, I'm going to say Solasta 2. Those are the games I am mostly looking forward to. No offense to anyone that's looking forward to a game that I didn't mention in this video, but that's just my personal opinion, and that's about it on my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below, what games were you looking forward to at the Game Awards? Did you see anything that you were excited about? If not, what was it that you didn't get? Were you satisfied with the awards? Were you a fan of the 33 sweep? And what game of the, what was your number one announcement for this year? My personal one, I'm gonna go with Divinity, just for the fact that it's not RE9 and it's not a game that we knew was coming, and it looks insane. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching this far. Make sure to like, comment below, answer those questions, subscribe if you haven't, send this to a friend that has abysmal gaming takes, who probably said that 33 was mid and that the Game Awards are rigged instead of the Sim. Let's hear those opinions in the comments below. But other than that, that's about it for me. So I will see you guys in the next upload. See ya.